Hi there. Just wanted to come on. I just finished a jog today. And wow, it's been wonderful. So, when I came, it had stormed this morning and I started not to come at all. And then I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead. And the storm kind of died down and the sun popped out for a little bit and I started jogging. And to be honest with you, when I started, my mind and my heart was just like all jumbled up. And I just started praying and listening to worship music. And I ran like that for 2 miles. And at the end of the second mile, I just, it started to rain. It started to rain, a light rain. It wasn't heavy. It's a light rain. But I was thinking like, well, I'm just going to stop. I'll just go home now. And I felt so to say, no, keep going. And so I did. And so that mile, usually that would be my last mile, my third mile. I just felt the Lord just pouring into me. And so the first thing he did was remind me that I love to jog in the rain. It had been a very long time since I had done so. And so the first thing as I'm jogging and starting to rain, he's like, remember, you love to jog in the rain. And I was like, yes, I do. Actually, it's very refreshing. And as I went along, I just felt him really speaking to my heart about some things, one of which he just kept reminding me, like, he's like, when did you ever let a little rain stop you? And I'm like, yeah, when did I start letting a little rain stop me? A little storm, when did I let that stop me from keeping on? And then he reminded me of a service I was in. I guess it's been about a month ago. Time goes by in a hurry, but maybe a month and a half. We had a special evangelist at our church, and the services were really powerful, really good. And I believe it was the third service. Yes, it was the third service. It was a Sunday morning. He asked if anybody needed prayer, and I didn't go up because I didn't feel like I needed prayer right then. And my husband grabbed my hand and said, let's go pray over this situation, a certain situation in our lives. And so I went up with him, was holding his hand, just praying. The minister was praying over other people. And he came by me, and he didn't even ask us what we wanted prayer for. He immediately said, you're in a battle. And then he said, no, you're in a war. And when he said that, actually, not at that moment, but my spirit clicked when he said, you're in a war. I knew he was speaking truth because I had been going through something and it felt like a battle, but it felt like a really long battle. And it was like he was letting me know, the Lord was letting me know, no, it's not just a battle. You've been in a war. And then the evangelist was very close to me, and he said, looked straight in my face and said, however, we know who wins the war. And at that moment, all the strength in my body felt like it just left. And I just fell to my knees. I didn't pass out or anything. I just fell to my knees. It was kind of like when you feel like all the strength is out of your legs and you can't stand up anymore and you just fall. And then he went on to pray for other people. And the Lord really dealt with me for weeks after that he is the one winning the war. And that it's not in my power or my might or my strength, that it's his. And then, as you know, I've come on here and shared, different things that he's poured into me, like the Lord's my shepherd, and he's my provider, and he's my keeper, he's my way maker, he sticks closer than a brother, he loves me, he's my portion, he's my strength. And he just for weeks poured all of that into me. And so today I felt like he was just reminding me and possibly, I don't know, maybe somebody listening, maybe something you're going through. You don't have to fight. This is not your battle. This is a war, and he wins the war. Um, you can just trust in him, lean into him, fall back in his arms of grace and mercy. Remember, just get in the word, just pray, and remember that he's your strength forever. He's your portion. He never leaves. He never forsakes. He goes with us all the way. And when did we ever let a little rainstorm stop us from keeping on going? And so it's funny because by the time I got to the end of the third mile, he had poured all this into my heart, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to stop and go home. Well, by this time the sun is shining again, and let's see if I can show you. Yes, I'm still out here walking. So the sun, and I don't know, but I was like, well, why am I going to stop running? And so I started running the fourth lap, and I felt in my spirits like this is the victory lap. When you run, I ran a 5K a few months ago, and I hadn't run one in years. And so I forgot that this is how you feel, but you press and you press and you press to get to that finish line. But then when you get to the finish line, you feel like you can keep going. So I ran another, 3/4 of a mile after the finish line. And I don't know, but I think that's the thing. Like, it's a victory lap. It's like you're done, but you're not really done because it's just built up in you. It's like they call it a runner's high, I think. And I certainly don't run fast. I wasn't running fast today. But normally I would have just stopped at the 3 and went home. But today I felt like I needed to go that fourth mile because the Lord had poured into my heart and reminded me that he wins the war, not me. That I don't have to fret, try to work, try to put all the pieces together. I don't have to, try to do anything. It's in him, and that he wins the war. And I'm just thankful for that in my life, because if I remembered that more often, life would be so much more peaceful. Because he brings us his peace. So if I could just remember to I don't have anything to prove. I don't have to prove anything. He's already done it all on the cross. He died for me. He loves me. He takes care of me. He strengthens me. He's my portion forever. And I can just lean on him, trust in him, and he will win the war. So just remember that if you are going through a battle, or you're going through something that you're trying to stress over and trying to, organize or do this or that or whatever it is in your life, I have no idea. But just remember, he wins the war. It's not in our strength. And I really believe that's why all the strength went out of me. And that night, even when I got home, I felt very weak. It wasn't until the next morning that I felt strength like in my body. I just felt that night I felt very weak and tired. The next day I was fine. But I really believe that he was showing me there in that moment that it's not my strength, that it's his, and that he can win the war. He will win the war. He has already won the war. So, just be encouraged, and whatever's going on, just lean on him. That's the main thing that I say almost every time I'm on here. I go back to leaning on him, depending on him. And I think it's because it's a huge battle in my life that I try to figure things out, and I try to do this and I try to do that, when really all I need to do is just rest in him. He's my portion and my strength. So have a blessed day.